Come and sing with me a song to the Shamayim. I'll play my guitar. You clap your yadayim, then we'll praise Hashem. And make l'chaim olam b'korah. Just come and sing with me a song to the Shamayim. I'll play my guitar. You clap your yadayim, then we'll praise Hashem. Come l'chaim, sing it loud. I am so proud. I'm a Jew. I'm a Jew.
And it's a little after 2, and I'm in my favorite place in the whole wide world. This is Simcha, and soon to be Nisim on Sunday afternoon with Simcha and Nisim. Yes. And I'm here, and I apologize for time off, but life is a little complicated. And I find that in order to really appreciate something, so sometimes the person is not zochet to be able to do it as much as they want. And this is definitely, first of all, seeing my very, very close best friend, Nisim Lazari, once a week and be able to sit with him and talk with him and really share ideas with him on the radio is something that's one of my favorite things. And unfortunately, it's really not something I get to do every week. I try, and God willing, I will as time goes on. But this is it. We are now between Lag BaOmer and Shavuot, and we are on the final countdown to Kabbalah HaTorah, the absolute quintessential, most important, defining moment for us as a nation, when God came down and gave us the Torah, actually gave us the Torah through Moshe, and we became exalted and anointed as his people. We were chosen, but now Hashem gave us the defining aspect of who we are. And you know something? It's really the most unbelievable thing, because when a person thinks about it, when a person contemplates it, having the Torah and having the mitzvot and having the way to live a life in the directions of how a person needs to live the best life is like the biggest gift. It's like getting a manual to a puzzle that you have no idea how to work. But by getting this manual, you get all the cash prizes. And that's what the Torah is. The Torah is telling us a manual of how the world works. But when you have mitzvot and when you have things in the Torah, it's not like they're nice things to do. Those are the rule books of how the world works. That's like Nisim, who puts together buildings and puts together houses. He knows the engineering of how a building works. He knows how much cement you need, how much steel you need. And someone wants to rewrite that formula, so they're going to make mistakes. Because the formula is a formula that's been tested, and buildings that didn't use that formula, so they collapse or they don't work. And I'll ask, but why? Because that's the way it is. The Torah is the way the world works. That's the way the world works. Anybody that wants to do it any different way, it may look like it's working, but guess what? Down the line, better search for that warranty, because it ain't going to last. It's not going to last. And the proof in the pudding is all the nations that came and went to the height of glory, okay? I'm reading about, because I'm just a history buff, I'm reading about King Louis XIV in Versailles, okay? How he took billions and billions of money, he threw it out, and he just built himself this insane palace, and with the nobles and all the people, and you would think that they were going to be there forever. Well, that's what they thought. But their morality was so terrible, and their respect was so terrible, and because of that, so it just went bye-bye. There's nothing left. There's nobody walking around today just saying, I'm a descendant of King Louis XIV. No way. The only reason why we know about him is because he left this huge Wahash palace in Versailles. But the fact is, we have today, today, in, in the year 2019, you go into shuls, thousands of shuls. All the Jews are doing the same thing. We're all putting on tefillin, we're all saying the tefillot, we're all doing the mitzvot. In a few weeks, we're all going to be eating cheesecake and saying tikkun or learning all night, whatever it is we do on Shavuot. This is what they did. This is what the Atanaim did. This is what the Amoraim did. Because the Torah is the quintessential essence of this creation. And the entire creation was based on what it says in the Torah. You say, how could that be? Well, honestly, I don't know, but I don't need to know. What I do know is that the Torah is what existed and what exists way before anything. So that's really what it is. So Shavuot's coming, and our kids are geared up. They're saying the Omer and Pirkei Avot, and this is a really great time of the year because it's before the summer, when we're going to relax. And it's gearing us up. It's like a really positive, healthy, enjoyable build-up for the summer. Everybody can cram themselves full of ruchaniyut and cram themselves full of Torah and more difficult, a lot more difficult. But that's really what's happening. Anyways, if you want to call in, the number is 718-683-5858. 718-683-5858. We haven't had callers in a while, but I encourage you to pick up the phone and call. I don't bite, and I'd love to hear what you have to say. If you have opinions, agree, disagree, it'll be great to hear from you. I don't know how you can disagree on what I just said, but if you want to, good luck to you. I mean, the truth is, unfortunately, there are people that disagree with it. Those are people that I really feel bad for. I really, really feel bad for those people. Because they're really, and I want to say this in a not nice way, but they're really missing the boat.
You know, it's something that, we in this generation, we facing it so strong, I would say that somehow we're losing it, for the destruction of other, so many things around us. So we're losing the true light. Because you have so many flashlight around us.
It's so funny you're saying that, because I see that what happens is that the fake lights just make the people who get the true light, there may be less of them, but those that do really get it, when you see and you hear somebody really, really Torah emet, then you really get it. It's a much bigger fight.
Yeah, but that's you see, like as I mentioned a few times, you go to Manhattan at night, you look at the sky, you don't see a stars, barely one star. Okay,
Right.
Go to the mountain, you see thousands of stars. What happened? The
Right.
artificial light basically taking the right light.
Right.
We every day in the morning we say, Ki bo'ocha nireo, a new light will see a light, right?
Right.
What do you mean? That to see a light, but the true light, we need to have a merit. We have to need some schut that we can see it. And I'm telling you because I was in the other side. You know this. I was really on the other side. I was one of these people that, talking nonsense about, peace and love and all this stuff. And I still believe that peace and love, it's important in this. This is one of our mission in the world. But what we pay for it and how we do it.
Well,
And how we do it. That's how we do it. If we feel sorry for to the killer and not to the victim, so we are missing the point. When we are sorry about the capital punishment that the guy mass murder so many people, and we said it's not human to kill him, but from the other end, we kill the babies without any blink of eyes. This is something that we cannot, cannot accept it.
But this is the world without Torah.
Yeah.
The world without Torah can go as far as you can imagine. I have a problem when I hear about people of the Jewish faith that do these things. It makes me insane. Because this is, no matter how distant a person is from Hashem, if they are from Zera, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, they are from the Zera, Avot, and Imahot, then they can't be thinking like this. It's not an equation that works for them. But you know what? We have always, I have a very, very good friend of mine who happens to not be Jewish, and she goes to work very early in the morning. And she says to me, the Jewish people are the only ones that are out at 5:30 in the morning. She says, I see them all walking with their fillings. She calls them fillings. Walking with their fillings. Going to shul. She goes, you're praying for all of us. She goes, I feel good because I see the Jewish people in the morning, and I know they're going to pray for me and for my family, for everybody. They pray for the world. So nobody else is getting up at 5:30 every morning and going to pray. And she's right. Our tefillah, when we go to shul, when we sit and we pray, the world is existing because of us. The world is existing because of us.
You know, the things that I know they spoken so many times, that we, we're in a society that's trying to establish like beauty and strength and everything. In the end, we forget all that the weak, that Hitler himself said that he is believed in the power.
Right.
He don't believe. He killed his own people because they were sick. They were sick. There was Down syndrome because there was old people. In Germany of the right, the Third Reich, wouldn't it be old age houses? No. There's no. Exactly this. And these people, so-called people, I cannot call them people. I cannot. It's very tough to say these creatures are not belong to the human race. They are not belong to the human race.
Well, see, but you know what?
They're worse than animals. I see pictures. That a person holding a baby, a Nazi, with this big smile in his head, and he's killing it.
But you have to understand something. This is the human race. The God-fearing person is an elevated human. And that's what it is. What is the human race? According to the definition, a human could be no different than an animal. If he acts on his humanity,
Worse than animals.
that's true because their methodology is more sophisticated because they're intelligent and they could talk and they can arrange much more sophisticated ways of accomplishing their goals. And animals will hunt like animals, and on four legs they'll run, and if the prey gets away from them, so then they go to another one. But a human being will be relentless about getting what they want to no end. But a Jew, a God-fearing individual who has God in his veins, cannot be like that. Cannot be like that. And you see, the Israeli soldiers, I was speaking to somebody, he says, you know how depressed he got after the Lebanon war? Because he went in and he had to kill so many younger Arab soldiers that were sitting there that would have blown up his tank if he would not have killed them. He said it was clear, 1,000% pikuach nefesh for him and his tank, but he still couldn't sleep. He couldn't handle the fact that he killed a kid.
I want to tell you something. This is maybe another 45 years ago with the war, and I was fearing these incidents. One incident was in the mesh when they took me down to the mesh after we got hit from the rocket, and there was over there Egyptian soldiers also, and I was so hot-blooded, telling you this was I saw my friends dying. I was over there, and my best friend was dying, and I wanted to kill them. One of the doctor and the nurse didn't want to take care of this Egyptian, and I don't blame. It was like so. It was the first moment at whether the first hours of the war, of 73 war, Yom Kippur war,
Right.
and we were in shock, in total shock. But I'm talking about the what do you call it? And thanks God, I couldn't make it. I couldn't make it. After I went back up to the last over there, and I had I had a few hours to keep an Egyptian soldier under my
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
a prison of war, and I'm telling you, I could I we had the chance to kill. I had the chance to kill him. Nobody would, just to
There were no cameras then.
not the matter that, but that's something that and it was really shaking. He was shaking. I'm sure that if I was the opposite, he would kill me immediately. But he was really shaking, and I was keeping him like 4 hours because it's a night shift. And I look at him, under the blanket, that he was under the blanket, like covering himself. I wasn't, and I felt so sorry about, I'm so sorry all this situation.
See,
You cannot take it, you cannot take it from us.
No.
You cannot take it from us, the humanity of this, the Jewish people.
because it's not natural. Not natural. It's something that's chelik elokam imao. It's a holy piece of Hashem they put in us, and it's not natural. Hashem is the most patient, the most giving entity in the universe.
Yeah.
Hashem benevolently provides everything the universe needs, from beetles, food, to who knows what. Hashem
Okay.
provides.
Hashem is but people say, oh, it's not such a thing, Hashem, and tell me, I always come back to the Stephen Jobs, that he was like a billionaire, genius, unbelievable personality, never gave a penny for tzedakah.
He wasn't
charity.
a nice guy.
He did it. What?
He was not a nice guy.
It was a nice guy, but in the last months of his life, he admitted, I didn't have life. I didn't. With all my money, I cannot buy my health. I cannot. He left this world, 53 years old,
Yeah.
miserable person.
Without even people that loved him. He didn't even have, like, a lot
Nobody
of
loved
family.
him.
Nobody loved
Nobody
him.
loved him. No, his workers couldn't stand him.
And they made a movie out of him afterwards that said what a jerk he was.
Uh,
It's his legacy.
it's like, but this shows us that we are really passenger here. We don't have any say here in this world. The only thing that we just say is to show how the kindness, to show how it can be a human race can be lift ourselves above the animal, our chachamim, our savior.
Right.
The reason that we created in the 6 days, basically, and the Torah said, let's na'aseh adam b'tzelmenu, let's create
Right.
in our image. And basically, HaKadosh Baruch Hu took from each animal, from each creature in this world, a certain DNA code and planted in the human being. That's why we have all this kind of strange behave
Characteristics. right?
characteristic, and we basically can do it can go above it. We're supposed to go above it. That's why our tafkid, that's our duty
Right.
as a Jewish people.
To use it for the right thing, to utilize it, and we can. We see people doing it all the time. And the truth is, the objective that is coming out now more and more is what people need is love. People need love from each other. People need to recognize there's love from Hashem. And if they could do that, then half the answers will be answered.
You know what? The word love is so big, so huge. And what does it mean to do that? I tell you, first of all, I found number one that if somebody doesn't love himself, he cannot love nobody.
That's
And
true.
this is when somebody and he can if you love Akadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem, you love everything because everything that is done is for good.
Right. That
Everything
person
is
has to love himself before he can love Hashem.
exactly. You know, when you hate yourself, you hate all the world.
That's right.
You hate all the world. You cannot stand nobody.
It's so true. That's so
Yeah.
true. And we have to love ourselves. We have to appreciate ourselves. We have to be able to say to ourselves, we're okay and we deserve love in order for us to love Hashem.
Yeah, this is something that we have to fulfill our mission. And I'm telling you, so many times, with the J-Root Radio, with the program, other programs we have here, and we spoke about it. How you love yourself, how you can love yourself. Take the mirror, take a mirror, look at the mirror, take a mirror, look at yourself. Say that yourself, look, I have eyes, I have ears, I can see, I can feel, touch yourself. Say, I love myself, it's a practice, I see that, many times I had we had the ear issue with one girl, and she couldn't stand nobody. She couldn't stand nobody. And I said, you know what? Practice. Look at the mirror. Say, I love myself. Smile to yourself. Give a nice smile to yourself in the mirror.
That's
But
fine.
nobody told me that I'm God. Yes, tell yourself. Nobody is up, nobody's dead. My parents never told me. Tell yourself. Give yourself an hug. I'm telling you.
Right.
Give yourself a hug in the mirror. Just love yourself because when you this you are human. You are a creature. Yeah.
And not only that, give yourself a break. People judge themselves and judge themselves and judge themselves, and they're critical of themselves, and they think terrible things about themselves. And they think, I don't know how we got into this mode of looking at Hashem like he's angry. Hashem is not angry. Imagine if my son, your son, someone goes to them and says, you say, listen, I want you to do this and this and this. The kid says, well, I'm going to do it because I don't want you to kill me. And I want you to hurt me. I want you to torture me. I want you to make my life miserable. You're going to sell me. You're going to burn me. You're going to kill me. You look at it and say, what are you, crazy? I'm your parent. I love you. Why would you say that? I said, well, because I'm afraid of you. I said, why are you afraid of me? Ah, yes. If a parent is crazy, yes, you're afraid of him. But you know what? What I'd rather a child say is, I'll do it because I don't want to disappoint you. I want you to be proud of me. Hashem doesn't want us to disappoint him. When a kid says, I'm going to do this because I feel like I'm garbage, I feel that I'm no good, I feel I'm not worth anything, that means as a parent, we're not doing our job.
Yeah. And
That
this is-
means that we're not doing our job. Kid needs to know. When someone asks me, how many times is the limit to tell your children that you love them? I say, I don't have a limit on such a thing. As many times as you can get it out of your mouth.
I want to tell you, this is something that bother me so much, and especially in a certain community, that the parents don't even give a hug to the kids. Don't just show
Oh,
a
yeah.
good, a warm feeling to a kid. It's a formula to disaster. These kids, formula. It's become so called parent. And I'm telling you, we spoke about it, and I'm telling you, many times I come home. I used to come home, my kids were small, younger. I come home late, they're sleeping in a bed. And I used to stand up to next them, give them a pat on the face, and still they're sleeping. I say, I love you. I love my son. I love my
That's right.
daughter. And you see a smile when they're sleeping.
Yep.
They're sleeping, just you call your son now. He's 35 years old. He's already our father. I love you, my son. Thanks God you have it's something that is giving that meaning to the life. This thing people don't understand this.
They don't understand it. They don't understand, and they think it takes away from them.
Yeah,
And I
well,
don't
pride.
understand. I don't understand. And this is something person should hug their children every single day. Hug and kiss your children every day. Kids need it. They need it. They need it so badly.
You
It's,
know what? Let me put it more on this. An husband and wife needs it. It doesn't matter how old are you. And 90 years, 100 years, we need this love. We need to see that somebody care about us. And what does mean love? Love is nothing that need, it's giving. Something you're caring about.
I have to tell you something. So I know out there, there's somebody who's sitting there listening to this and saying, but what if my spouse is just not lovable? What if my spouse is not lovable? These are saying that spouses need love. So, but what if a person's spouse is just not lovable? Let's put it at that. Just that. So you know what, my friends? Those are the ones that need it the most. Those are the ones that need it the most. Those are the ones that you need to go over and against their will, give them a hug. Against their will, show them love because nobody else does.
This is it's so right. It's so, we see it there daily. We see it really the moment. There's people that don't understand what
Yeah, they
it's all
don't.
about. What's it about? Give a hug. Say good words. You know what? The people that on and this, Rabbi Arush, as a great book. It's called Gana Chokhmah,
Gana Shalom.
Gana Shalom, and also the wisdom for the ladies.
Gana.
Gana Chokhmah, yeah, I think
Yeah.
women,
Wisdom.
women wisdom, something like this, okay? But it's amazing to
But
see.
that is the Yesod.
Yeah, this is the soul. This is soul.
And I'll tell you another secret. I'll tell you something. I was sitting with a family, and the mother was very difficult, and the father was apologizing to the children about the mother. You know what the child said? Daddy, you taught us how to love mommy. You showed us how to love mommy. You showed us to ignore these things and to love her anyways. And that's how she loves you back. And that's the MS. That's the MS. That's when a parent, and you know what? So you're going to say, so I should be miserable? So let me explain to you something. Miserable is a frame of mind. It's a mindset. Person wants to say, I'm miserable this way, I'm miserable that way. A person can make a decision and decide that I can live my life like this with a potato kugel that's not as salty as I like, or a house is not as clean as I like, or things that I want that aren't done, and if they're not done, and those are the things that you live with in life, you sacrifice, so be it. So be it. But I can tell you something. A person is capable of being happy that way if they decide they want to be. But with a divorced wife and children nowadays, it's very, 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 very difficult.
I'm telling you, it's something that we have to understand that many times we don't love, we don't love things that we're doing, right?
That's right.
We don't want to go to the work and get, in the end you don't get paid, or you don't love to this, But we have to do it. We have just as a mission, as a thing that many things we don't like. The Gemara talking about, I don't remember the rabbi name, that his wife was a very, very tough wife. Every time that he asked her something, she will do the opposite. You know the story?
No.
Okay.
I know the wife. No joke.
Every time.
Not mine, Gaffer. Mine's the best. Someone else.
He was, he was like this. He asked for a steak, she would give him a fish. She asked for fish, she gave him a rice. Okay, every day that whatever that now he used to send his son. One day he asked his son to ask his wife steak, and the son went to the house, and he told his mother, Abba, father want a fish, and she gave him the steak. Okay, so now the son come to the rabbi and bring you the steak. He looked at him. I said, what happened? So he said, no, I know that you wanted the steak, and I told, he said, listen, son, my son, I want to tell you, I'm living with this woman many, many years. She is a great woman. She is the mother of you. She is the mother of my children. And that for me, I don't care if I eat steak or fish, but never lie to her and never showed it, never, that thing. But Abba, I care about you. I said, listen, you care about me, I want to, my house is peaceful and not never lie to you.
That's right.
And it's amazing to see that, so many times, I tell you, for example, I know so many people like in the 50s, 60s, 40s, suddenly take out the bike and divorce. Go away.
It's so scary.
It's, I'm telling you, people don't understand today, especially today, they don't know how to challenge themselves. It's like this. We say the disposable generation.
Yeah.
You have a car. Okay, so disposable. Oh, she is so somebody in the social media. Oh, it's look nice, and believe me, and I'm telling you, from my experience, most of my friends that divorced, they remarried a worse. It's not funny, but
It's not funny, but the truth is,
worse than this with the spouse.
and the truth is, I say that there's only one thing worse than being married to this person, being divorced from the person. Because if you can't deal with the person when you're married, then how are you going to do when you're divorced? Now, I'm not saying, and Nisim, you know this is very true. There's certain situations where a person really has to get divorced.
Yeah, definitely.
If you're talking about, God forbid, abuse, you're talking about, so an exercise that I do with couples that come in and say they want to get divorced. It's one of the exercises that I recommend anybody does. Anybody that's contemplating a divorce. I recommend you sit down and you write 4 letters. 4 letters. Okay? The first letter is a letter to your children at the age of their bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah, explaining to them your reason why Abba, Ima, or Mommy and Tati got divorced. And explain it to them on the mind of a 13-year-old, okay? Understand, your bar mitzvah is messed up because it's complicated, because you have divorced parents. And I want you to understand why I needed to do this and write down the answers. Now, if you have Taka good answers, okay, then there'll be a letter that you could look at. But if it's something because Mommy repeatedly burnt the potato cooker and it wasn't nice, you say like, huh? That's why my life got messed up? Then write it to the child, a letter in their 16, 17-year-old birthday when they're in high school. Write it a letter when they get married. I'm so sorry that I'm not walking you down the aisle, or I am, or this and that, and arrange it. And the next one is when the first grandchild is born. If you could write a serious letter, and when you read those letters, you understand, oh, I really had to get divorced. So then you know what? It's okay. But if you hesitate on it, now I'm not saying and I'm not blanket saying, but then you have to really work on it.
But this, my question, for example, when you see, we're talking about now a young generation, young couples, okay? But imagine yourself a couple already 30 years married, 30 years, with even grandchildren, and suddenly just become, I don't know. It's challenging, It's something that was.
So
It's
I had this
challenging.
disagreement with somebody, and he says I was never happy. I made myself happy for my children. Now that my children are grown up, I don't want to do it anymore. So I said to him, but you know what? I said, I don't understand it. There's something called loyalty. There's something called commitment. And the truth is, it depends on what type of life a person lives. If a person was narcissistic and was self-involved their whole life, and that's the way they live their life, then I'm sure for the wife or for the husband that's there, it's not a shock. I had a situation where after 10 years of working on their marriage, the lady said, I want a divorce. And the husband, look on the husband's face was, oh my gosh, I thought you'd never ask. And he on the spot called up the rabbi and said, Chacham, what day are you in your office? You available Thursday? I want to come down and give a get. So Rabbi said, what? He goes, yeah, that's it. Kaka. He gave a get Thursday. We were talking Monday, Thursday. She gave him a settlement, and the whole time he goes, I wouldn't want to deny you what you want. She was a very tough lady. He goes, I wouldn't mind if you really want a divorce. No, I've been working on it. No, no, honey. You really want it, it's okay. I want to give you what you want. I want to be a good husband and give you what you want. You know what? Every situation is different. But I can tell you one thing. Collateral damage is always the children. It's always the children. So no matter what, no matter how bad the situation one parent is, it's very, very difficult for the children.
It's you know what, but listen, you I'd say so-called suffered 30 years. You suddenly discovered, it's also people don't understand that we have stages in life, middle age, people getting, a little bit anxious, that's things that,
And what's important now is not going to be so important in 15 years. And you stick it through because later on, you know what? It's so complicated. It's so complicated because it's all about ego and compromise and all of these things. By the way, if you want to call in and join this very fascinating conversation, which I'm sure people really have a lot to say about, 718-683-5858. 718-683-58. Or you could text in 347-927-8398.
And you can also leave us comment in the Facebook page and all this if you want to say something. If you are outside of United States, as we see here right now, quite a few people watching that.
I just think that what happens is that you have people. Listen. Happiness is a frame of mind. Happiness is a way a person wants to be looked at. People have been happy with very little, and people are happy when they need a lot. And happiness is just a frame of mind. Happiness is a way of thinking. And the bottom line is that a person has to realize, well, I don't know, they can pursue their dreams, but of all this like happiness and this bliss, but it's really a fantasy. There are people that have very happily married a second time. There are. And there are people that it's right. But you have to, it's just, when you have little kids, it's very hard. And you know what? It's so hard for a person to say, well, I tried everything. Well, you never know. You never know. You never know. I just think that it definitely is, the divorce rate is definitely too high, higher than it should be. And a lot of the therapists that push divorce and encourage divorce, I want to ask them, do you have a fund to pay for these children's therapy when they get to be older? Like, do you have a way of paying for it? Because it's not so simple. The conflict and the difficulties that arise for children are too hard. Too hard.
Yeah, I will tell you, I know a few persons that said that they wish to be divorced, but they cannot afford it. And it's true, it's not.
Well, you know what? I had when I was a bachur. So I was dating, and there was a guy who was my age, and we used to compare notes on our dates. He was coming to Mikdash Melech in the morning, they finished by breakfast, and I love to tell stories. And everything in my life is a comedy. I mean, my life is, if you follow me around with a camera, things are funny. Funny things happen to me, and it's also the way I look at things. My life is funny. So when I would go on dates, I would come back with funny stories, and my way of dealing with it was I would turn every date into a story. And that was morning breakfast with simcha, I used to tell everybody my stories, and we used to laugh our heads off. Meanwhile, this guy also was dating, and he used to tell me, "You're settling, you're settling, you're settling. Don't settle, don't settle, don't settle." And for him, the fact that I married an Ashkenaz girl was like settling. Hazit, Nebuch, whatever language you want to choose. This poor guy never got married. Never got married. And we used to, every Thursday night, we used to get together in his basement apartment, and we used to order kosher delight, and we used to learn some Mishnayos, and we used to schmooze. That was our thing. You know something, Nisim? 10 years ago, which means he was not old. I'm reading the Jewish press, which is a miracle. You never really read that. He died.
Oh.
He died at 45 years old. He died. And you know how he died? He had a heart attack in his apartment, the same apartment, eating kosher delight on a Thursday night. And I said to myself, Ana Arif, Hashem Yishmor. I came home that night. The first thing I did before I took off my shoes was I said to my wife, "Thank you so much for being my partner. Thank you for being my friend. Thank you for staying with me for all these years, for raising children, for being my partner, for sticking with me all these years." She looked at me and she said, "What do you want?" I said, "Okay, what do you want? Why are you telling me this?" And I'm telling you this because you know what? There's something so big to say. Somebody sticks with you and lives life out with you. That's something to sneeze at. It's not something to sneeze at. And love is not about being selfish. Love is not about what's in it for me. Love is about what can we create together? What can we do to change the world? You know, what nowhere does it say Avraham Avinu was resentful of Sarah Imenu, you know, Chalila, no children, this and that. Sarah tells him, take Ishmael out of the house. Doesn't say, Abraham said, you're not sensitive to me. Rachel gave the simanim to Leah, okay? And the amount of love and devotion and connection, you know what? I'm sure that the Tanaim and Amoraim had arguments with their wives, and I'm sure it talks about the concept of Shlom Bayit. The Shlom Bayit existed then too. It's just people don't have the strength and stamina to take care of it.
Yes, this is time. Time is flying. You know, I just looking.
Oh
down.
my!
Wow. We have.
I'll tell you something, but this is something I used to, and I have friends, very good friends. Well, now they're friends. At the time they were clients. They call me up all the time and tell me, you know, Dr. Simcha, it's because things that you told me years ago, I still keep them in my head. They still go on in my mind. And you know what? Someone says to me, so what do I get if I respect my wife? Why do I have to sit there and respect my wife? So the answer is very simple. Your children will be respectful children and will learn a different life if you respect your wife. My father, Zichrono Livracha, told me, he said, Simi, that's what he used to call me. He said, you have a problem because you know everything. He was talking facetiously, sarcastically. He goes, I know you know everything. And I know you're the smartest. And I know you know everything about raising children and about this, that. He goes, I know you married a girl that doesn't know everything. He said, but let me tell you something. If you spend your life correcting her and fixing her, then your children will not have a mother. You will eliminate a mother from their lives because they're going to have to choose who they're going to listen to, either Abba or Ima. He said, so don't correct her. I said, so what are you telling me that? I say something wrong, I should just leave it? He said, no, set the example. Set the example. Set the example. You know what? One of the fights that we had in the beginning of our marriage was TV or not TV. So you know what? So, like most fights, my wife won. But you know what? I can tell you with pride and joy, I'm listening to a conversation between my two oldest sons, and they're talking with their friends, and they don't know I'm listening. But I wasn't eavesdropping. I was listening. My kid says, my father never watches TV. I never really saw my father watch TV. I don't think my father watches TV at all. You know what? They're right. Because if I was going to have a TV in the house, I'm not watching it. Not in front of my children, ever. They're not going to see me vegetate in front of the TV. And I was a couch potato before I got married. Okay? I used to be able to sit and vegetate in front of the TV like a nice, good, a stupid head. But you know what? It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. And Baruch Hashem, none of my children are addicted to TV. None of my children have. At one time, I said to my kids, okay, we have a lot to do at Pesach. We're going to put a movie on for you. And my kids said, I have to watch the whole thing? You have to sit the whole time? Can we go outside? So you go outside. Of course. But the point of the matter is that you know what? And but see, this goes back to the other thing. If we keep the derech HaTorah and how we make shidduchim and how we match up our children, and we match up our children al pi derech HaTorah with shadchanim, eshamayim, with shadchanim that approach things in the right way, and our shidduchim are done not like picking up boys and girls in public places like this. It's done arranged, and then the girl and boy go out and they get to know each other. But it's arranged. It's arranged. You know, the family's appropriate, kids appropriate. You know about the kid. You know what the story is. That's when Hashem comes in full force. You see out Hashem like crazy.
Okay, so I want to tell you, I had a very long conversation in our show about it, and this is, I know that it will be probably the next topic on our show, with the shidduchim, when we're talking about this, and our parents can ruin the shidduchim, our parents
Oh my
can ruin
gosh.
their life, and I'm telling you, I see a lot of marriages get ruined because of this.
100%.
I tell you, this week we had an issue. It basically a few hours before the wedding canceled.
I was at a wedding in Israel where the Chatan and Kala did not come.
So I'm
We were
telling
at the wedding, the band, everything was there, food, the whole 9 yards. No Chatan and Kala. We didn't know what to do. We ate. We went home.
So there's almost something like this happened here, and it seems like the parents basically got involved and just throw out all the good. Crazy.
This is why you
crazy
need a
story.
Selach Harav.
Yes, exactly. Crazy stories, and unfortunately, as a parents, But one thing, we spoke about one thing, and I tell it to my kids, and I tell it to myself, and we cannot change nobody.
No.
The only one that we can try to change, it ourselves.
And by changing ourselves, we can change somebody else.
Exactly. As you said, as an example, you will be the example. You will be the role model, and believe me, it's working.
And it does work. And you know something? I can tell you that the other thing is, which is very important for every parent who's marrying off a child. And I married off one child. And I tell you something, Nisim, every day I see more and more how Hashem loves me. My daughter-in-law, God bless her, is so beautiful. She's so good for all of us. And she's such a machaya. She's such a blessing in my family. But you know something? Before I walk down the aisle, they're playing my song, Anna Hashem by Shlomo Carlebach, and I'm shuckling, I'm ready to get down the aisle. My father, calls me back. I think he's going to give me a bracha. He holds up car keys. He says, Simi, honey, do you want to marry this girl? I said, Dad, they're playing my song. They're like, 400 people in the hoopah room waiting for I'm like the main event over here. He goes, no, really, if you don't want to marry her, my car is parked in back. There's a full tank of gas. I have sandwiches in the car. You could go. I'll pay for the whole wedding, and I'll pay her parents extra money, and they won't lose anything. If you want to go, I'll let my go. I start getting a stomachache. I said, Dad, you don't like my wife? He goes, no, I love her. But do you understand you can leave if you want? I said, I can. But do you want to marry her? I said, yes. He goes, you're a cohen. Tomorrow morning, honey, no backseats. That's it. I said, I do, Dad. Come on. Like, you almost finished the song. Everybody's waiting. Okay. So before my father died, I had the very, very, very special opportunity of speaking to him. He asked me, do you want to ask me anything? Before I die, you want to ask me anything? So I said, you know what? I really do want to ask you. What were you thinking? Why did you do that? He told me something so profound that changed my life. He told me, he said, Simi, you are a person that, and I'm proud to say, you live your whole life for the Zula. You live your whole life, you only think about the next person. Everything you do, you're so considerate, Baruch Hashem, thank God, that you never do anything selfishly. You don't have a selfish bone in your body. He goes, you cannot get married as a favor to a girl. You cannot get married because you don't want to disappoint her parents. You cannot get married because you don't want to disappoint mommy and me. You cannot get married because you're afraid what's going to happen if you break up the shidduch. You have to get married for your own selfish reasons because you want to marry this girl and you want to build a life. Your decision, your responsibility, and you had a choice not to, but you did. Take this choice. You want to know something? Throughout my whole 30 years of marriage, that has been the one nikuda. I chose this. I'm going to make it work. I made this decision. I can make this work because this is mine. Nobody forced me into anything.
That's one thing I tell to the parents, to then the kids, and many kids over this. You don't do a favor to nobody.
Right.
Only to yourself. You don't go to go to schools. You don't do favor to your parents or the rabbi or to the children. You're doing favor to yourself.
Yourself.
And everything this is like that. Tell my kids, listen. My kids are asking me, Abba, what about this you do? What about this? I said, I'm not getting involved with this. Sorry to tell you. The only one that can involve the Kadosh Baruch Hu. I let him to choose it. I'm telling you, I'm married now 4 kids so far. There's Hashem on the other soon. And we, what? It's amazing. It's really amazing how everything is getting in the right.
Hashem
and my
runs
dear
the world.
children, my son, I'm not getting involved with your shidduch. And you, my daughter, you have problem with your husband, make it working. It's not something that, I don't get involved. Oh, why she did it like this? Why you did it like this? Why are you dare to do this? People don't understand.
They don't understand.
I have couples here that the mother comes, she didn't cook you this favorite food. How dare she is?
Right.
Get out, take out, and give us.
And from a psychological standpoint, I can't even tell you what that's about.
Yeah, exactly. And this is something that's crazy. We are talking about people that are getting ruining their life and their children's life. And, unfortunately, in our community right now, so many people divorce, not even give a chance to work about
right.
it. So what? Okay, they discover that the guy or the girl has something and they try to work it. Try to work about it. The parents don't want.
The only problem is that when it's something that is a big lie, and there was a big lie, so you know what? Then all I can tell you is you have to go to She'elah Chacham. You have to go to She'elah Chacham. You have to go somebody that knows. But the bottom line is if a parent is doing a shidduch, they have to do their research. You have to do your research. If a parent doesn't do research and then finds out something, then you know what? It's a very difficult situation. But And
Look,
it's never easy. Rabbi Rami, my Rosh Yeshiva in Israel, used to say, when he said, I had like a lot of heartbreaks. So I said, Rabbi, but I don't understand. Girl doesn't want to marry me. So he said, what do you want, Hashem to send you a telegram that the girl's not for you? That's the way Hashem tells you. The girl's
Yeah.
not for you. She decides not for you. See, I happen to be a kind of guy that I just saw myself married to a lot of different women. So I thought this one's right, this one's right. I liked a lot of girls. And so he said, makes my life easier. Now
Yeah.
Hashem picked one that liked me. And that's,
That's that only people don't understand.
they
that,
don't realize it.
don't realize that Kadosh Baruch Hu running the show. And I'm telling you, after fortune, after myself, and I said, so many things happened to my life, so many things, and I found myself, oh, Hashem love me, and give me the right option, and people just coming, and I'm telling you, I'm so upset about certain behave of community, or we're talking about is belong to this community? Or it's not even just look at the boy or girl, just no, it's not worth. It's not going to work. I'm telling you, I have a few cases that the parents pushed away a beautiful pair of people just not because they belong to another community, just because the name, even the name. One time I have a case that the name of the a boy, they didn't like the name of the boy.
It's so
It's
sad.
it's crazy. It's not sad. It's crazy.
You know something? I have my first cousin is married to Rav Menashe Vaknin in Tveria. He's the Ab Beit Din in Tveria. His yeshiva is yeshiva right next to Rabbi Meir Balanis. That's his yeshiva. And his father was Rabbi Meir Vaknin, Rabbi Meir Balain, that he was the Rav Rashi of Tveria for many, many years. When he was niftar, his Hasidim wanted for my first cousin, Rav Menashe, to become the Ab Beit Din. And there was another candidate to become the Rav Rashi. There was another candidate, Harav Peretz, who he had his Hasidim that wanted him to be. And politically, in the papers and in the public, it became an issue. They themselves had nothing between them, but it turned into something because the Talmidim created something. So my cousin stepped down and he said he's taking himself out of the running, and Harav Peretz appointed him to be Ab Beit Din. But what happened was, for years, they really didn't speak to each other. They didn't have what to do with each other. I have a second cousin. My cousin's daughter, Ayala, was 23. She was not married. And just not heard of. She was but and they read a shidduch. They were afraid to tell the rabbi about it. It was with who? The son, Harav Peretz. And they went out. And shidduch ala yafeh yafeh. And they went to get married. And they made a beautiful wedding, everybody together, and it was ahdut. And it was beautiful. They didn't have children for 2-3 years. So I went to Baba Sali. Baba Sali said, you know what? You have to throw a party. 2 of you. Because everybody looked at a wedding. Oh, they had to go to the wedding. Find a reason. Make a siyum masechet together. Find a reason to make a collaborative party, just the 2 of you. Just for no reason. Just because you want to. Something to collaborate. And make a l'chaim on arak together in front of everybody. He was big on arak. And you'll see.
Every Shabbat we have arak in our shul.
Yeah, I have arak in my house. Bahya, that's right. And so, you know what? After that, they had children. They had like 9 children.
No.
So what is it? So what is it? Because Satan looks to make mahloket, looks to be soter, the binyan ad, and we have to look outside the box. We have to see. We have to see the Yad Hashem, and we have to open our eyes. And so, I heard from a rabbi that when there's a mahloket that the Satan makes, Hashem will go out of his way to find a way to be Mevatel the Machloket.
Yeah.
And that's the bottom line. That is the bottom line. I have very good friends of mine that they were mitnagdim. There were people that were mitnaged to the shluchim, and they had thank God guidance. And I'm not minimizing. That's why we have rabbis and we have people to talk to, and you have to be involved with somebody. I have tremendous hakarat tov to so many rabbis who I took advice from when my son was engaged. People, and I want you to know, Ashrei Yisrael, the Rabbanim are out there, available, Mosrei Nefesh. I was talking to Mrs. Leaf, Rabbi Moshe Tobi Leaf's wife, and I said, they moved into her house. And she goes, you never came to my house. I said, I did. She said, when? She was in Cleveland, and Rabbi Leaf was in my car talking to me and my wife at 11:45 at night outside his new house, and he wasn't even unpacked. There were boxes, still in boxes. I told her, she goes, oh, I didn't know I was in Cleveland. So, but you know what? The Basrei Nefesh.
This is something that we have to appreciate our rabbis, our leaders, and see that what good job we had.
Now, one thing I have to say before we end up, okay? This is and we have to figure out how it's going to be done. Everybody hears this, needs to take this to the height of seriousness. Jeru Radio is alive on a hair, not even a shoestring, not even a nylon thread, on a hair.
And a miracle.
It's a miracle, but guess what? Ein Sovchim Al Hanes. Rabotai. It drives me crazy and it makes me insane when I turn and I see so many other mosdot, so many other multimedia mosdot that get support. What message are you giving us? Are you giving us a message that we don't matter? I can't believe that. Because there's nobody that does the Mesirat Nefesh that Nisim does. There's nobody that accomplishes what Jeru does. You have suggestions. You want us back on air. Then we need to raise the money to do it. We would love to be back on air, but we're not going to break halakha. We're not going to break rules to do it. And we're not going to have a radio station where when you turn off the dial, Christian broadcasting comes on afterwards. Where Khalila, if someone recognizes our call letters or call numbers on the dial, and they turn it on the wrong time, they're going to hear heresy, okay, or something that's not Torah. So we have a problem. Yes, our problem is that we're straight. Our problem is that we're serious about what we do. But Rabotai, you must text in your donations to 347-927-8398. Text in your donations. You know what? This is Maaser Chata. It's the highest level of Maaser. And there's a shul that Nisim runs, is in charge of. If you want to give a donation substantial, if it goes to the shul. But L'man Hashem, we are not going to go away, and Hashem will send us the funding. Don't you want to be the way it comes? Don't you want to be the resource? Don't you want to be able to say that you did this?
As Esther Malkas, Mordechai said to Esther, if not from you,
That's right. Al Tadavim and Ashech. You know something? I saw a guy this morning in shul. Hazi, it's such a sad story. He's telling me, listen to that story. He's telling it in front of everybody. My heart was bleeding for the guy. And I can't give him a lot of money. But I walked over to him, I said, you know what, I can't give you a lot of money. But what I want to give you is the following. I told him, just because you lost your business, or just because you're down and out, doesn't take away from who you are. You're just giving us opportunities to do mitzvot that we probably need to save our lives. The $1 that I gave him, who knows if that didn't save my life today? Who knows if that doesn't tip the scale? Who knows if that doesn't make all the difference in the world and what happens in my life? We don't know.
We don't know. One thing that we know that basically the J-Root Radio, it's not only our programs, there are so many programs, others that save a lot of life. I'm talking about if it's the Torah and how many non-Jewish people basically is joined the Jewish nation because J-Root Radio, because all the lectures and the wisdom. And as we know, we have one Asian guy that call us the wisdom channel, And we have when you see the statistic, even from Tehran, even from Saudi Arabia. We have listeners all over the world. You can donate on jrootradio.com. You can send the check. You can just tell us. We will fly to pick up the check, and
But you got to do it. You got to do it. And Rabbi
because really,
Need,
really, and we have all the support of the rabbi support. We have all the just
but
come on.
we need people. We need people. And you know what? If there's a young person who is savvy in social media and you want to do an internship, you want to dedicate your time, and you want to just come sit here and put out posts and do the Instagram posts and do the LinkedIn, Facebook, you could do that. Come and dedicate a few hours a week. I'm telling you.
Even we can give him control from distance, just because
But
we really need
we need bodies to do this. And you know something?
We need every help because I cannot be all the day here. I cannot pay full technician. We have a Rwanda doing a great job, but it's still not enough.
We need you. We need you. And you know what? This is a great opportunity to be involved in something that will change your life. It will change your life. Get involved over here. And not everything in life is about money. The biggest, most important things in my life that I did were not things I was paid for. There were experiences that I had that changed my life. When I was a kid, going to nursing homes, seeing home people, it changed my life, changed my whole outlook on life. You will never, I can guarantee you, if you're a high school boy, the summer's coming up, okay? You want to spend some time, dedicate some time. We're here, we'll set you up. And your life will never be the same. You'll never in life meet somebody like Nisim. You'll never in life connect with somebody like Nisim to enjoy and to appreciate the Yirat Shamayim and to experience what it's like to be living in this realm at a young age. It's a game changer. It's a game changer.
We change. I know. I don't want. We change quite a few life of kids
For
and
sure.
people, and that's I know. In fact,
You changed my life.
And I change. I know that I don't want to mention names, but the parents themselves just call me, thanks us, and these kids was from the bottom of the confidence, no confidence, nothing,
Yeah.
become stars, become well contribute to the society. I know if you remember the show of the Kids at Risk, if you remember the Junior Parish Hour, if you did the DJs, people that kids was on the street already, and we just I don't know. I had the school. I don't know to find them. Kadosh Baruch Hu send them to me.
Hashem sent them because they needed you.
And Baruch Hashem, we really, I'm sorry. I see that the people, I see meeting them in the street, and right now the adults, right now they're already married, some of them, and it's a really beautiful.
So this is the campaign. Get J-Root back on air. That's what we need to do.
Get J-Root great again.
J-Root is great. It never stopped being great. But get J-Root back on air. You want to know the details. You want to be involved. This is the time to do it. This is it. Kids are going to have summertime. This is the time to do it. And you know what? This is something that needs to be done. And the reason why Hashem's not sending it easy is because he wants you involved. He wants your life to change with ours. So give a call, contact. Don't be lazy. Figure it out. And this is what we need to do. We need to do this.
So thank you very much. And we are already 17 minutes behind the hour. So just an hour.
Now, we took 17 minutes the next hour because we need to speak about keeping J-Root and putting J-Root on the air.
Okay. So and to all of you, thank you. Rabbi Dr. Simcha Cohen.
Just Simcha, have a great day.
Simcha, afternoon with Simcha. Great.
And Nisi, have a great day.
Anywhere, anytime, for everyone. This is jrootradio.com.
Do you miss the taste?